Hello, welcome back to everybody from our Google Hangout. And we're now going to listen to Ashley Brooks, who is patient and staff champion and working with Barking, Havering and Redbridge University Hospital. And they're celebrating their first pledge that they made in 2013. Which is and it's now the anniversary of the gardening service, which they launched as their part of their pledge for 2013. So Ashley, welcome. It's really good to have you on the call. And you've got about 10 minutes or so to share with us, and then we're going to have a conversation, if that's okay. So over to you.
Okay, thank you, Jackie, and hopefully everybody can hear me clearly. First of all, thank you for inviting me to take some of this time up on this great day of celebration, and happy 4th of July to any American brothers and sisters we've got on the line. I was asked to come on the line today and tell you about what it meant to us here at BHRUT Hospital Trust in East London, what Change Day meant to us, what we've done about it, and what the future holds. So if I go firstly back to before Change Day, and when Change Day wasn't even spoken about, and I started speaking about Change Day with Jackie around about the November 2012. But before that, to try and raise an idea and get it quickly actioned in the NHS, especially in a busy hospital trust as BHRUT, it was a very, very slow process. It still is in some respects, but a very, very slow process to get any creative idea moving quickly through a system. And so when we first started talking about Change Day, and what it was, and understanding what we could do with it, and at the beginning we didn't really understand what it was being asked of us, but we very quickly saw an opportunity that Change Day was presenting us, and it was presenting us with this, that we could, as a trust, put a stake in the ground on that day, on that first Change Day, and start talking about the positive sides of what we do, because it's very easy and we're surrounded by the negatives of what we do. But Change Day gave us the opportunity to say, hey, look, we're good at this stuff, we're really proud of what we do, and we're going to pledge to do more of that. And so we started to gain momentum early on in sort of December and then January 2013. And we put a team behind it to think, we've got 6,000 staff here. How can we disseminate the message? How can we get people motivated to do and say and pledge positive things to their colleagues and to their patients? And over the course of a couple of weeks, certain things were pledged, and we carried them through. People were pledging singly, I'm going to smile more, I'm going to talk up the hospital, I'm going to talk about research more, you know, I'm going to help my colleagues when they look under pressure, and all these great things that we are allowed to pledge. But as we started talking, we wanted one overarching, something different, something that had power over and above these great things. And it was discussed that, you know, in light of reports coming out about mid-staff, in light of the culture of the NHS of whistleblowing and raising concerns, or people, you know, not raising concerns, as it were, we were thinking about how can we impact on that agenda. Let's learn from the Francis report. Let's use Change Day. Let's use the pledge system to try and address that problem. And so we did. So what we did is work up an idea, how different should it be? How different can we be? Pledges, Change Day, gives you permission to do something different. And, you know, that's exactly what we saw in it. And we were energized by Jackie and Helen and the team who were, you know, heavily involved in Change Day 1. And they were literally saying, it can be anything you want it to be. There was no boundaries, no rules really, just anything you want it to be, it can be. So we really took that to heart. And we created something that has never been done before. And just, I'll say it again at the end, if it wasn't for Change Day, if it wasn't for the pledge system attached to Change Day, this idea would never have come off the ground, or it would have taken 4 or 5 years to possibly get off the ground. So what the ask was, and it was asked of me personally, was if I would begin design the first truly independent, patient-led concerns whistleblowing issue raising service within the NHS. And so we worked that up, and I did a lot of work in the background, and I interviewed people who had whistleblown in the past, quite high profile. I interviewed staff of the NHS around the country, all different bandings and levels, and pitched them this simple idea, and this was the pledge of Change Day 1 for us. Would you use a service that is completely confidential, has your anonymity at heart, where you can come and just talk about your concerns, raise issues, and you know that there's no vested interest in your career, no vested interest in where you work. We don't even need to know your name at this moment in time. Just come and talk to us about it. Just let off steam. And everybody that we asked around the NHS said they would absolutely use that service. So we worked the service up based on our pledge, and on Change Day 1, 2013, we had many hundreds, if not thousands, of pledges across the organisation, and we were really privileged because Jackie Linton, who was one of the leads of NHS Change Day, came to visit the hospital, and that was a big boost for the staff here to have someone of that sort of stature and that national level to come and help us. But the pledges were thick and fast. The pledges meant something to everybody who were pledging them, and we've carried a lot of those on. But the one that has stuck, the one that has gained momentum, the one that is, if you like, the one we're most proud of, and I think NHS Change Day should be most proud of, is the Guardian service, because that's what we called it, and that's what it still is. And we launched the service. It took us time to work up the governance, the structure, the reporting around that. And we launched on the 27th of June last year. We've just had our first anniversary. And so far, we've had 103 people come to visit the Guardian service. Now, that might sound an awful lot of people. That averages out about 2 a week. But if you look at the year previous, the calendar year previous, not one person used the official trust whistleblowing policy, not one. And so far in a year, we've had 103 people come, and we've had some very serious concerns, and we've had some not so serious concerns, but we've helped everybody. And the staff survey here has absolutely improved when it comes to their confidence in raising concerns. And we can only put that down to the Guardian service. It's absolutely been successful. It's just been commissioned now for another year. It's going to be embedded into the trust-wide policy. We're making a film about it, and we're really proud of it because it's really worked. Every single person we've helped has said thank you, and it's been a great mediation situation for the people of this trust. But if we can get back to NHS Change Day, the second one, NHS Change Day 2 this year, we again were supported by Jackie Linton and her team, and we put on a big show. We made a bigger event of it this year. We had far more pledges, and we had almost everyone in the trust doing something on that day for the betterment of their colleagues and patients. Again, this only can happen, it seems, when there's a momentum of social movement, social media, social coming together to say, do you know what, on that day, it's okay if you do this. It's okay to take your own leadership and empowerment and say, I'm going to do this. You're okay, run with it. And no one can say no to you because you can badge it, you can cloak it, and you can hang on to Change Day, and that gives you permission. And I've seen many people in this trust use that permission and do some great things on Change Day. And what's next for us? Obviously, the Guardian service is going from strength to strength. We're going to be doing an online version this year as well, and so we're growing the model. But in this trust, we use the pledge system in every workshop we do now, in everything we do. We've got a huge OD piece here, cultural development, called Pride, and in it we pledge to each other what we're going to do. And NHS Change Day has gave us that idea, gave us that gift. We pledge to each other what we're going to do for each other. So long, tall and short of it, NHS Change Day was amazing for the NHS, but I've got to say it was amazing for BHRUT. It's a trust that's under fire at the moment. We're in special measures. We've got a lot of challenges, but NHS Change Day gave us confidence in ourselves. It gave us some respite. It gave us belief. And all I can say from the staff here, the 6,000 staff and myself, thank you to Jackie, Helen and the team for allowing us to be what we can be and giving us that confidence. How does that sound?
Sorry, thank you, Ashley. Sorry, I was talking and I was on mute still, but thanks very much for that. That was a really passionate and kind of heartfelt presentation. Sounds really, really interesting. I mean, I've got some questions, but I just want to ask if anybody else has got any questions for Ashley. I can see Jeanette Williams saying that the Guardian service sounds amazing. And I wonder, Jeanette, whether you could sort of just post in the chat, why it sounds amazing to you. But I just wanted to, is there anybody else got their hand up asking questions? If not, I will go straight to just ask Ashley a couple. No? Okay. Well, I know the Guardian service very well, actually. But some of the things that really kind of struck me as you were talking was you mentioned a lot about this giving permission and not being told what to do. How important was that? Because that sounds really simple, but how important was that to you actually making this a successful thing?
I think, Jackie, it's the key to it at the beginning. Not now, because it's gaining momentum, but at the key to it, that's when I was, if you like, trying to sell it into the organisation, people's focus was elsewhere, obviously, at the time, because there's, as I say, challenges. But that permission, when you can see the penny drop in someone's mind that, we're not used to being given our own empowerment. We're not used to being given, look, it's your NHS, it's your department, it's your ward. Do something. Do something for the betterment of your colleagues or patients. We're not used to permission, Jackie. And we're still not. But the more we talk about it, the more we say, do you know what? You can come in today and smile more. You can come in today and, and talk to patients more. You can come in and treat your exec members with more respect. You can. People aren't used to permission. Yeah. People aren't used to, you can do this. People may be a bit scared of taking their own initiative, because it might go wrong. We're defined by our problems, never by our achievements, Jackie. And that is uncomfortable to some people to realise that.
Yeah. The other thing that you said, Ashley, was this would never have got off the ground if we didn't have that sort of momentum. Could you just tell us a bit more about that? You said, it might have taken 5 or 6 years. So why do you feel that?
I think when we were having our initial discussions here, we were, if you like, we were searching for something big. Everybody was coming up with, all the good stuff. I'm not decrying anything, not more important than others, but we were coming up with kind of like the generic pledges that you see that are very popular. But that's a big tell in itself, that if lots of people think smiling more at patients and their colleagues, right, then there's work to do there. People want that if there's lots of them saying it. But we were looking for something big that we could say that's an overarching. Now, from my experience in the NHS, I'm national patient champion. It's still an uphill struggle sometimes to get a point of view across or a feeling. And for me to come to a hospital trust and say, I want to introduce an independent whistleblowing service led by me, a patient and others, and, it's completely confidential and you've got to trust me on that, then that would never have got off the ground, Jackie. Not in a million years. Or it might have taken me 5 or 6 years to get someone to listen to that. But because of Change Day, because of the position it put me in personally within this trust, it gave me permission and it gave other people permission to say, yes, okay, we'll do it. We'll go with it. We'll trust it. And we can, if you like, blame Change Day if it doesn't work, celebrate Change Day if it does. You know, there was a certain risk, you know, so, you know, it enabled, Jackie, it enabled us and me to be credible and do it.
Yeah, fantastic. So I'm glad it works on both sides.
Yeah.
In that sense. But I was really struck with that comment, really. And that kind of leads me on to, you know, the other thought, and you mentioned it again just now, and Janine has just sort of mentioned it in her chat as well, that, you know, this idea of, if we just go straight now to the actual Guardian service itself, this idea of taking something really simple, so Change Day is a simple tool. It's not complex, it's make a pledge. It's really simple. But actually what you've done is you've applied it to a really, really complex area, very, very complex. And I mean, I've shared with other people about the Guardian service, and I know other people have heard me speaking about it. But for a patient to be a patient champion, to be put in charge of that service, I think is phenomenal for any organisation to be doing that. And so I just wanted to get your views on, you know, how does that happen in the NHS? We've got patient champion running a whistleblowing service. You know, tell us about how that's possible.
Well, it's a really good question, Jackie, and it's I think the wave of acceptability that's coming over the NHS over the last 2 years, that it's okay to have patients seen as equals. And, you know, I've had that struggle, as you know, for 12 years, and only over the last couple of years have I personally been starting to be accepted into, you know, higher circles, if you like. But within this environment, don't forget, we're under a BHRUT. We have been for a long while. We're under scrutiny. We've got a focus on us. So any decision made here has to be cast iron. You know, we can't make decisions willy-nilly. We're under too much scrutiny. So it lends even more importance to the fact that certain individuals in this trust said, you know what, let's trust our gut feeling on this. This seems right. It seems to be the right thing to do. And there was two really big, if you like, personalities within the trust that really supported it, and that was Dame Donna Kinnear, whose idea it was originally, who was head of governance at the time, and our director of nursing, a lady called Flo Pannell Coates, who both of them absolutely, as exec level, said, let's go with this, this seems right, and, you know, let's give Ashley the chance, and let's give this trust the chance. And so, Jackie, it's a really good question. You know, I find myself in situations that I never would have dreamt in, for even 5 years ago. This morning, I'm on stage interviewing Sir Bruce Keogh and Jane Cummins. That's never happened before. The Guardian service has never happened before, and we are seeing coming to fruition. No decision about me. Patient-centred care. We are seeing the signs of it actually happening.
Well, I think it's absolutely fantastic, and I applaud, you know, CR Queen's Hospital.
Yeah.
I applaud them really for you know, being brave, being courageous, and doing the right thing. And I applaud you as well. And I think somebody asked me recently, you know, in terms of your skills, what does it take, you know, to be able to do that? And I think that it says something about you and how people trust you to be able to do that. So
yeah.
I think it's fantastic. Is there anybody else who would like to ask Ashley a question? I know I've taken up but they've been a little bit shy this afternoon. So, is there anybody else who wants to ask Ashley a question or make a comment? Thanks, Jeanette, for your comment. Jeanette was saying, listening into action methodology and supporting staff to make changes to benefit patients and staff. And you were just speaking to a member of staff to look at this very idea in their trust to see whether they could actually make it happen. And I think that this would help a lot of organisations, and I think it would build a lot of bridges as well. I think between staff and patients and so forth. Actually, I can't see any more hands raised. Is there anything on Twitter or anything else some of our organisers want to comment on? Yes, or Rosanna?
Hi, Jackie. I think that the Twitter themes are kind of staying quite stable and quite similar, but I think people are obviously incredibly impressed with Ashley's work and the Guardian service, which sounds like it's making huge changes. And I think a few people have actually been posting in Twitter talking about their own change day pledges, so it's quite nice to be reminded of many of the things that other people are doing. So I think those are the main things, really, and a little bit of kind of preview of what's to come. People have started posting about other talks and events that are going to be happening this afternoon and this evening, so it's quite nice to have a little bit of a trailer of the tweets that are in store for us. So I think that's about it from Twitter now.
Okay, thank you. Well, before you go, actually, I just want to say thank you. And just to give you the last word, really, on just something that, what you'd like to say.
Okay, Jackie, all I can say is thank you for letting me come onto the line and brag about the Guardian service, because we're all very proud of it here. But I'll leave you with this. It couldn't have happened if it wasn't for Change Day.
Thank you. Thank you. That's fantastic. What an inspiration.
Okay.
Shall we give Ashley a round of applause on if we just use the feedback and just to say a big thank you to Ashley. I know you can't stay, or I think you can't stay, but just a huge thank you. I hope it went well this morning.
Yes, it did.
With your interviewing. Yeah, that's great. Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
You'll give Ashley a round of applause. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, Ashley.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.